the Kansas City Chiefs can ride their momentum from their 2-game winning streak into up against a fairly underrated team thus far in the National Football League. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a 3-1 record, and Patrick Mahomes would love nothing more to push them to 3-2 while also getting the Kansas City Chiefs to 3-2. 3 straight wins eliminate and completely erase the 0-2 start. Then you're back into the AFC West Division title chase. How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs co-beat writer for On SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today. If you did check out yesterday's podcast with Jaguars On SI beat writer, beat reporter, the man, the myth, the legend himself, John Shipley, I suggest you go check it out. It is a great breakdown of what to expect between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars as they fight on Monday Night Football. Pivoting from that podcast into today's podcast, we will be discussing 3 key storylines to watch for Monday night. Now, I know that this is typically the time where I give you my prediction. If you want to know our predictions for the game, I strongly advise you to go check out yesterday's podcast. Both John Shipley and myself, we gave our podcasting predictions. And I think that they're both very reasonable. If you want to go check it out, I advise you to. But today, here are 3 storylines to watch as the Kansas City Chiefs head to Jacksonville to try and win Week 5. The first one is Patrick Mahomes continues his dominance, whether that be over the Jacksonville Jaguars or just leading in from Week 3, Week 4. He has started to turn the page against the Jaguars and in this season. Finally breaking through, Patrick Mahomes has had 2 good back-to-back games. Against the Baltimore Ravens, he threw for his most passing yards this season thus far with 270. He had 4 touchdowns. He was not a factor in the run game, surprisingly enough, but it is very, very crucial and important to note that Patrick Mahomes will be the key player to watch in this game. He has had a very strong career when fighting against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Since 2018, since he became the starting quarterback for Kansas City, he has been a player to watch always, but also just against the Jags, he has been a player who has really not shown a whole lot of weakness. In 4 regular season games, and including the playoffs with the 1 game that they have, Patrick Mahomes has over 1,300 passing yards. He has 9 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, a passer rating of over 100 at 106.6, and he has only been sacked twice. Seeing that the offensive line is a struggle still for Kansas City or an area to watch consistently, it is an area going into this game. So long as the offensive line can be successful as they were in Week 4 against the Baltimore Ravens, into Week 5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think that Patrick Mahomes should continue to have a very strong outing. He has averaged over 300 passing yards per game against Jacksonville, 330.75 to be exact. The Jaguars defense has averaged this season 18 points a game, though. Their defense is very strong, and I really do think that it will be a test to prove whether or not the Kansas City Chiefs can ride their momentum from their 2-game winning streak into up against a fairly underrated team thus far in the National Football League. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a 3-1 record, and Patrick Mahomes would love nothing more to push them to 3-2 while also getting the Kansas City Chiefs to 3-2. 3 straight wins eliminate and completely erase the 0-2 start. Then you're back into the AFC West Division title chase. Another area that the Kansas City Chiefs should be paying attention to, or rather their fan base, is how well that their run defense will be able to hold up. As we know, thus far this season, Travis Etienne has been a dominant force against their opponents in Jacksonville. He has been rushing his legs off. He has been a guy that is arguably the biggest threat to circle on the roster for Jacksonville. One that the Kansas City Chiefs run defense specifically, will have to improve on. Thus far into the season, that has kind of been the defense's Achilles heel. Their coverage is great, their pass rush is great, but when there is a defender trying to break through their defensive wall, they often find a way to get through. However, there are ways to break down this game. If you stop the defense, if the defense stops the Jacksonville Jaguars rushing attack, you then have to force Trevor Lawrence into throwing the football. And he's been fairly inconsistent thus far this season when doing so. He has almost the same amount of touchdowns that he does interceptions, and seeing how well that the coverage has been for the Kansas City Chiefs, forcing that is crucial. Stopping the run, stopping a really good rushing team in Jacksonville will be a key to victory for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not saying it has to be perfect. You have to limit it, though, if you want to give yourself a winning chance. And then the third storyline, just for fun, out of everybody to pay attention to on this Jacksonville Jaguars roster, their second overall pick in the NFL draft from this past season, Travis Hunter, the man who can do it from both sides. This will be the Chiefs Kingdom's first encounter against Travis Hunter. And thus far into his National Football League professional career, he has been a player to, respectable. He's a respectable rookie. He has yet to score a touchdown on the receiving side of the ball. He has 13 receptions and 21 targets for 118 receiving yards, averaging nearly 10 yards per reception. He has three first downs and one fumble. So there is a way to beat him from a defensive side, especially in that coverage like I was just talking about. The Kansas City Chiefs have been doing a great job. Whether or not Trevor Lawrence does find Travis Hunter in the game or not for several yards, after the catch, the Chiefs defense has been very good at minimizing how far the receiver goes. On the defensive side of the ball, he has 11 total tackles, 7 solo, 4 assists with 1 pass defended. I think, though, that going up against Patrick Mahomes, a player who is a multi-time Super Bowl champion, a multi-time MVP award winner, it will be the biggest test in Travis Hunter's career of having to defend against the Kansas City Chiefs should the Jaguars decide to use him on the defensive side of the ball most of the game. I think that those are the 3 big takeaways for the Kansas City Chiefs going into, or the storylines rather, going into Week 5. If you have some of your takeaways or ideas or storylines to watch, I would love to know your thoughts. Be sure you follow me over on X at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every single day. You're not going to want to miss any coverage of the Kansas City Chiefs as we get into Week 5 and prolong through the rest of the regular season. You can also follow us over at KC Chiefs on SI over on X, where posts gets dropped daily, all exclusively free, whether that be columns, opinions, podcasts, analysis, game reports, you name it. Kansas City Chiefs on SI is the place to get your Kansas City Chiefs news. As always, folks, be kind to one another, and I will see you tomorrow.